Alrighty, let's go. Broncos coaching search. Yeah, I shaved. I'm no longer no neck beard, no chops. I just have a curly haired Italian fuck right here. So, yeah, fishing sweater. Let's get into the Broncos interviews. They have interviewed Gerard Mayo and Gannon already, and they've interviewed Callahan, O'Connell. I think the last guy they have to interview is Bieniemy. So here's the guys that I would want to be our head coach for the Denver Broncos, obviously, and who is red flags. Who's the guys that I really think have no shot. I think there are two guys that really have a head shot, and there's one guy that's really a favor. But let's go with them. Let's go the list. Lions DC, Aaron Glenn. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they just hired him. I mean, not hired him. Interviewed him just to interview him because his team season was over. So that's why they interviewed him. The first few interviews, Luke Getsy, I think he's more of an offensive coordinator option if we hire Nathaniel Hackett, in my opinion. So I don't think Getsy has really a shot. Nathaniel Hackett's my number one guy out of all of them. He was the OC for Jacksonville, and he helped that offense looked really good. Well, not great, but good with Blake Bortles. So maybe we bring in Blake Bortles back to be our backup because, the connection. And obviously he's worked with Rodgers. He's worked with former Bronco, what's his name, Kyle Orton. He's worked with E.J. Manuel. He's worked with bad quarterbacks, and he's worked with solid to great quarterbacks. And his offenses were really solid. Outside of Jordan Love, he just can't play good with Love. He can't coordinate Love for some reason because he sucks. No offense. But, yeah, that's my number one guy, Nathaniel Hackett, and he's not that old. He's like 41. Kellen Moore, 33. A lot of Cowboy fans say this guy, he can't coach good against good defenses, good teams. And they're complaining about him. And that's what, obviously at the beginning I wanted to get him, but, looking at it, the Cowboys haven't really beaten top competition, and when they play against top competition, their offenses don't really shine. Again, the Niners game, they didn't really play good until the fourth quarter. But I think Kellen Moore has a lot to go. I don't think he's garbage. I don't think the Cowboys should just get rid of him because their offense was still good. So I just think he's too young. I think he has to wait a little bit. And plus, he was playing in the NFL 4 years ago too. Dan Quinn, former head coach. He's the only head coach here with head coaching experience. I mean, head coaching candidate with head coaching experience. He's the favorite because he's the guy who actually coached. But I wouldn't want him. Again, defensive mind. Everyone wants an offensive-minded head coach for the Denver Broncos. And I'm on the damn fucking bandwagon because the last two head coaches for the last 5 years with those losing seasons have been defensive coordinators. Vance Joseph, he was a defensive coordinator. Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator. The first year we met the 6-year playoff list streak. Obviously it started with Kubiak, but we were 9-7 and we had a winning record. We have a shot at the playoffs. We actually had a shot. And our offense was kind of competent at that time, They still had the Super Bowl coaches, and then they all left, and Wade Phillips left, Kubiak left because, it was medical problems. I think if Kubiak never left and Phillips never left, I think Simeon would be actually decent because he would have a coach. But no, he got Vance Joseph the next year. So, yeah. So Dan Quinn. I don't know. If we hire him, we better get a good offensive coordinator. Gerard Mayo, I think he's defensive coordinator material. I don't know. He's really young. I remember him playing with the Patriots. He was a really solid linebacker. He's a linebacker coach for the Patriots. I'm like, this guy Gerard Mayo. This guy used to play, and he played for the Patriots. Obviously, he was a solid player. Maybe he's a defensive coordinator. For the Broncos, I don't know. Or he goes back to the Patriots. I don't know. Jonathan Gannon, no, I don't want him. Eagle fans complained about him, that he doesn't do good against good teams, and it shows. The record is 9-8 during the year. and they didn't really beat any good teams. They beat a bunch of mediocre teams. Their best team that they beat was the Saints, and they didn't have Jameis Winston, so that was like their only team that they beat over 500. But that's really on Gannon. He only does good against bad teams. Brian Callahan, he's the offensive coordinator for the Bengals. He actually was on the Broncos during that Super Bowl 50 run. He left, and the Broncos haven't made the playoffs since then. Is that because of Callahan? No, it's not. But Brian Callahan, offensive-minded, doesn't really call the plays for the Bengals, but he is involved. He's part of that team, and he's helped that team out become what it is today, a playoff contender, Super Bowl contender. And obviously Zach Taylor and the talent gets majority of the credit, but he has to be on that staff. He has to be going in meetings and stuff, helping them out. And he's been in the league a while, so he has a lot of experience, and he's young. So I wouldn't mind hiring him, but we'll see. I think it's a dark horse. They're doing a Zoom meeting with him. They're not meeting him in person because of the playoffs, because the Bengals have to go on the road. So that's just something. Kevin O'Connell, he's the offensive coordinator for the Rams. Again, McVay and all that stuff. His offense has been good, the entire year. But at the same time, how much of it is McVay? How much of it is the talent? But he is a young guy, young offensive mind, and maybe he becomes the OC. I don't know. We'll see. And he gets more duties. Maybe he's an assistant head coach. I don't know. And the last one's Eric Bieniemy. I don't want him. I'm sorry. I think Andy Reid's doing all the work. Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill. I just think he's a hack. I don't care if he gets all the credit. I don't like that he has connections with Colorado State or whatever, the Buffs, like Vance Joseph did. I don't like the allegations of, just look up the allegations. I don't like that. Even, I just don't like that. It's not a good message for the players. And I don't like that. I know they say he's a leader in Kansas City, and he probably did help. All coordinators have to help, because why would they have a job? They have to help with the offense. But I wouldn't want Eric Bieniemy in my opinion. Out of all of them, probably realistically, the top two candidates are Nathaniel Hackett and Dan Quinn. And out of all of them, I would want not Dan Quinn. I would want Nathaniel Hackett. But I don't know. Realistically, I think they'll hire Dan Quinn, and because he has the most experience and stuff, I would have hired Hackett. I would have hired Hackett, but you never know. They could hire Hackett, could hire one of these guys. That's why they're flying across the damn country. That's why George Payne's flying across the country to interview these guys, except Brian Callahan. That's I guess because his dad coached the Raiders. I'm kidding, but at the same. Yeah, he's flying across the country to interview all these guys. So, Dan Quinn's not set in stone, to be honest. I don't know if he's going to be the head coach. I don't know. I think, again, realistically, Hackett, Quinn, maybe Callahan, maybe O'Connell. Those are, my four guys that I think could be our head coach. I don't think Kellen Moore's going to be the head coach. He'll probably go back to Dallas. Mayo maybe go back to New England. Gannon should be fired from the Eagles. Callahan could just go. I don't know. Maybe he'll be our head coach because he used to be here. He knows the area, and he has a good offensive mind. I don't know. So those are all the candidates. They're scheduled to interview Eric Bieniemy tomorrow. A lot of sources Albright and everybody really are saying that they may name the head coach on Tuesday. So, should be interesting. Once they hire the head coach, they're going to try to sell the damn team. And that's really good. I'm happy that they're going to sell the team. They need to sell the team. The Bolins, the Kaiser, all that shit needs to be erased. And we need a new owner for the Denver Broncos in the going into the future. So that's really it for this video, talking about all the candidates for the Broncos head coaching position. some of these guys, if they don't get the head coaching job, maybe become coordinators like Luke Getsy. If we hire Hackett, I think Getsy will come along. That's what people say. Maybe Gerard Mayo could be a defensive coordinator. I don't know. Some of these guys could be coming to the Broncos regardless. Even like when we hired Vic Fangio, we also hired Mike Munchak, and he came along as OC coach. I mean, not OC coach. Offensive line coach. There we go. Sometimes I'm forgetting because, I don't know. I'm just making this video out of the blue. That's it. Everyone have a good day. Peace.